Yeah, yeah. Public service announcement. This goes for any of y'all. Whether you subscribe to gender or not. Let's give an honest source to the creator. Probably upload this to my unfiltered Innerchild. Don't waste your time. Do not waste your time and valuable energy coming over here assuming that you're going to waste my time. Just throw yourself out with the trash. Don't assume that you're going to come over here and come into my world that I gradually have weeded out the bullshit, nurtured, planted beautiful flowers over here in my world, tilled the soil cleared out a lot of stuff, and that, this tree that you see, this specimen that I've been taking so good care of, managing myself, navigating my emotions, protecting myself on all levels. Go save yourself. You cannot save me. Okay? You cannot save me. Don't come over here thinking I'm playing. Because I know in the word don't, it says do. Because I know some of y'all still going to try your luck or learn the lesson the hard way. Don't come over here. Whomever you are with that shit, with that bullshit. Don't come over here. If you don't have knowledge of yourself. If you don't know where you're going. Don't come over here if you just focus more on leaving a legacy, you want to collab, and you want to get some money. I get the whole money aspect. I ain't mad at you. But don't bring that hustle shit over here. Don't bring that controlling, manipulative shit over here. It's not. This is not an invitation. If I didn't give you one, did you hear what I said? I didn't give you an invitation to come over here. To just assume that you're going to take up space over here. No. Go take up space somewhere else. I've had to declutter to create more space. Sometimes you gotta let people know too. Because sometimes if they ain't seeing you physically, they can see you digitally and watch your videos. That goes the energies too on this platform. If you know, you know. I know y'all scheming and stay scheming. You're trying to get at me. My ancestor said, dog, I'm gonna ride for my stay scheming. She just trying to get at me. Dog, I'm gonna ride. From the coop to that ghost, dog. That's how I feel. From that bicycle to that bike, dog. To that Lambo, dog. To whatever it is. To that Z, what is it? Z60? Z something. Telling you, man, like, y'all just gonna get checked. You don't do that inner working shit. You just be very mindful of the world that you create. I don't know what you doing over there, but it ain't the same over here. Hey, my inner child, we want to have fun, enjoy life, and embrace it as it comes. You ain't did no healing work. You ain't did nothing. Don't come over here. Damn. Don't try to come back over here with that same sob story. Talking about the past and how you want to rekindle Rekindle what? You don't have all this time. Some of y'all don't have all this time. You don't have all this time to do this. If like the deeper you get to know yourself, here comes somebody. Hey, you know, I just want to talk to you about what happened years ago. What's up, bro? I just want to, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all don't even acknowledge shit. You just, hey, bro, I see you doing your thing and shit. Like, knowing I don't fuck with you. You little spit that. I ain't fucking with you. You little dog. I got a million things that I'd rather fucking do than to be fucking with you. Little stupid. I don't give a about you and anything that you do. Got a million things on my mind. That nigga E40 said, I got a million things on my mind. I got a million things on my mind. Kill him for titties. I don't even know. In my head it sounds like, but my mouth ain't moving like, you know, the words that really go. Got a million things on my mind. Still thinking that. I ain't talking with you. If y'all know, because some of y'all gonna watch this, I definitely gotta put it on my unfiltered Innerchild because my other videos are panned out like they months to come. Some of them already in the next year, bro. But yeah, this that new evolved energy. So whoever chime in on this one or come in on this one, you'll get the updated version. They want to experience. I'm curious. I'm just challenging some shit. I'm curious. Motherfuckers just curious. I'm curious. I just have to experience this new version of him. I just have to. I'll do anything. That's how some of y'all is right now. I do anything. Nah, when you really get to know yourself deeper, fuck yeah. I'm like, to get to know myself deeper, I'm sitting here like, bro, I'm curious to know what's more to come. Like, as I gradually evolve, I can see why it would pique people's interest to know, like, I mean, somebody told me some shit one day that made me, that shit just turned me all the way to the left, all the way around. I'm like, the fuck you just say? I want to pick your brain. The fuck? The fuck? No, you're not. I think sometimes we don't even realize what we be just agreeing to. Yeah, pick what? You ain't finna do shit. I love to pick your brain. No, the fuck you out. You let to mind your fucking business. I'm curious. My elder told me years ago, anybody from the past, leave them there. You tell them, devils, get up out of my feet. I was like, damn, what they said? What they said, Daddy? Daddy. What the fuck? Daddy, I didn't even Daddy. Y'all, please don't mind me. This is the inner child expression, bro. I'm trying to tell you, I did this shit young, goofy. I've always been a jokester. That's my grandma. Remember I used to make my grandma laugh so hard, teeth used to come out. You know the little fake teeth, like, oh, you the boy, you crying. I'm like, damn, grandma. I thought your shit was permanent. Your shit. What? You hit the ejection button on them motherfuckers? Damn. They got gums and all on them motherfuckers. I used to be like, damn. She like, boy, no. I was like, oh, okay, damn. Shit. You know, our curious as we young, we go get the little pink stuff to go in there and try to put the damn teeth in like they hours. I'm over here having some fucking flashbacks, bro. I just try to put my grandma's teeth in knowing damn well. I'm curious. Nah, but for real though, bro, I don't know who it is, but man, I I just dealt with so much bullshit with people, bro. It ain't even people. It's just like taking on stuff from their world that you don't even have to. It's like the fucking sob stories get so old. That's just me, like, again, but it's to a point where, like, I know when it was to listen to people emotionally dump, like, on people and so forth. Like, that's what the healing reveals. Like, go do some healing. Go do some shadow work. Go love on yourself. Go do something. It's a balance. Pour it to yourself. It ain't gonna happen overnight. But I'm telling you, sure the fuck it didn't happen overnight with me. This was me all alone. I ain't gotta prove it to people. This is just me all alone. And the only people I feel like can have access to that are people who are like-minded. People who are on that level. Or in that head space and in that energy of like enjoying the simplicity, like embracing the bliss of shit, like the ecstasy of things again. Like I'm literally getting myself prepared. And I realize how important it is because I realize, like, bro, I wouldn't even be able to enjoy my kids had I not really learned how to balance according to myself. Like when I was going, my other video I'm gonna upload later, like I really had to like let some shit go because I realized these were the prominent figures or the primal figures in my life who made sure I didn't fucking enjoy my life, bro. Woo, shit. And anything, not even just a replica of that, anything that reminds me of that, what the fuck makes you think I'm not gonna stay clear? I cannot fix them or you or nobody. That's why I realized with some of my homeboys and people, it's just like, bro, I see too many signs to just ignore the fact of like y'all still living out the same trauma that you don't even catch it. You still vicariously trying to live this shit out through like people. You don't even see it. God, you don't even see it, bro. There's no judgment. But in my evolution, I realized like I feel like I keep saying this. I feel like I'm so early, but I'm just being prepared. I feel like I'm early in a lot of stuff. But I realized like early not a bad thing. Arriving early to a function is not bad because it's not horrible at all because I start to recognize like arriving early, you learn how to, if you're not aware, you learn how to enjoy your own company. Ooh, that's good. That's great. You learn how to enjoy, you know how to be in the presence of yourself even when people start to crowd the function or come in. And when you start to look at life, that's what I feel the inner child reminds me of. It's just like, yo, even if people not around, I gotta know how to enjoy myself. I got to. Because, and that's why you can see how the focus has been so much on keeping kids away from their inner child into adulthood, to where now you see people don't even know how to enjoy their life without people being around. Like, there has to be a balance, y'all. You don't get ideas always around people because of energy. You get a lot of insight and downloads and so when you to yourself. Everybody not ready for that. People have become so accustomed to being codependent. I'm telling you. Even though I started a little later, I ain't mad. My starting a little later, I was being reminded that you do know you're still early to the function, right? So it takes a lot of patience in that. It takes a lot of patience for people to realize, like, you know what? He owning something. I don't know what he doing, but he owning something. How could I subscribe? How could I contribute? Because that's all this really comes down to when you really look at a lot of stuff. The world has been so accustomed to dysfunction, codependency, manipulation, deceiving each other, which really is only going to come down to you realizing that a lot of this shit is going to fall back on you. Who have you allowed to influence your life? That's the identity crisis around why I speak about inner child, because most people have lost sight of that. They lost sight of the innocence. They lost sight of who they are. So now they'll make any excuses to actually be who they are. Because they've seen people make so many excuses not to live in their truth. They've seen people make so many excuses. Now you got people coming out in stories and stuff. I saw a video talking about how this lady was, I think she was a part of, what is it, some type of corporate world or something. But she realized like that hustle shit, and that's what it's revealing right now with Pluto and Aquarius. That hustle shit literally keeps people from their family. Y'all don't realize a lot of this shit was designed to, see, the inner child reminds you of the interconnectedness you have to your child, which will show you the external connection you have to yourself and extended family. Yep. So anybody try to control that, it reminds me, I got memories coming up where I went with my, the mother of my kids, my partner, to her family functions and shit, which I know now was dysfunction. So much so to where when we were there years ago, we were in the upper peninsula, but upper Michigan, basically around the lakes and stuff, right? It don't matter what I'm doing. I'm going to explore the world, like explore, like when I say that, like my imagination needs to see shit. I'm an artist. I don't want to go everywhere with everybody. Some things I like to enjoy to myself. Some things, I've always been this way. I like to enjoy to myself. I like to enjoy with people. And I gradually start to learn that most of my life, if not all of it, the connections that I was in, a lot of people were so fucking disconnected from their inner child. They were so disconnected from fun. Joy. They made every excuse on not to have fun. They were distracted by, I get the money thing. But y'all gotta realize how the abuse of power when it comes to the monetary system has played a major role in keeping people from actually exploring or having access to things monetarily to explore. When you see the abuse in that, we all know who prominently gets loans or who have done things, the gap in that shit through hatred, through all these different things to also enable not just self-hatred, which y'all call racism, but to keep people divided, to keep people looking at each other as if this person is better or more valuable. But in reality, the people that are delusional and think that they're, again, I tell y'all, they still get to live their life, but they're still having an attachment. They don't even realize they have an unconscious attachment to money. They have an unhealthy attachment to where when something happens, they actually think that they're better off. But once these things shift now, the value system is changing and so forth, it shifts the whole perspective. It also will shift the perception on how people see each other and what they value and so forth. So now, when that changes, you start to realize, like, who really has it. Because I've seen people, no matter where they are, I don't give a fuck if them kids are jumping on a mattress. I don't care the imagination some kids have to make a basketball goal, to play, to have toys and so forth. That's the power that y'all don't realize that the divine has instilled in all of us. That inner child, that joy, when a child can find a reason to explore itself, like through its experience, explore its imagination, with or without having said certain resources, y'all actually believe that you're better off. Y'all are actually about to see, and this is how I can see how some people, like, that's the one thing I'm so grateful that I've held tight to is my imagination since I was a child. Now, did I go down paths of self-destruction and yeah, of course I did. But it always brought me back home to myself, to what I love, the arts, the creation, the music, the writing, so much more that you have no idea. Because once you start to look at family, once you start looking at a lot of stuff, you start to recognize, like, you knew certain people who had gifts. Man, this cousin, bro, you see, man, you know your mama, man, she can throw down, she can cook. All of the shit is a self-expression of your inner child. A lot of people, things they go after, think about people at restaurants. They've been cooking since they were young. They love to cook, they love to serve. But look at the control aspect and the manipulation around who gets what. Who receives the finer things, the fine dining. Who gets access to this? Who gets to explore this part of the world? Who get access to know about these creatures and these new things? Now let me tell y'all, that's a whole other subject. But that's a part of divine justice and judgment. There is shit out here that we are supposed to experience. There are some people I don't even know that black rice exists. I told somebody, like, black rice? I was like, well, white rice growing up. Yeah, you got the plastic or you got the fake shit. You got the shit that really was literally to keep you at a place mentally, emotionally, stagnant. All types of shit that will affect you. Some people who never had a purple sweet potato. Some people don't realize when they travel. I'm telling you, I used to stay in California, bro. Venture. People I knew that stayed there never went anywhere. Here, I'm reflecting now. Somebody I knew fucking lived there. Again, the belief system of their mama. The scarcity, the fear that they be in. The scarcity around them experiencing life. The projection they had on their life. That's how a lot of my relationship dynamics would end up in a lot of exposing the fear. The fears and the insecurities around their mothers and fathers. Yep. I would be subjected to false accusations, a lot of stuff that, again, was projections of people's internal world, or most likely what happened to them. Their fears came up. They projected it onto their children. Some people had the courage to rise out of it. Some people went right back to what was familiar. And that's why I keep telling y'all about the inner child aspect. These be the very people who return. And they won't, and I don't say like in this high honor aspect, they're gonna be reminded how much, even what I went through with them, I didn't mean no harm. I was coming in innocent. I was pure at heart. I had pure intentions. And that's even in some women where I was fucked up to where I didn't know how to manage my emotions, because here it is, I'll try to follow the crowd, drinking stuff, and not realizing, like, I get triggered by something. And again, it's still the little boy who threw a temper tantrum and didn't know how to manage his emotion. But in all those forms, I still tried to make amends. I knew myself better than anybody. Even if people try to come along and thought they knew me better than me, no, it will always be the ones who didn't know themselves try to project onto me. They couldn't project onto me. Even when they tried to, it didn't stick. But that's why I recognize how people who I could no longer stay with in connections and so forth, who didn't know how to rise and actually acknowledge the inner child, who didn't know how to rise above their mothers and fathers' fears and certain shit, because they would run back. Again, it would be the little boy and girl that would run back to safety. And again, due to my own karma nature through certain things too, I also recognize the fact of how I wasn't safe for myself. So I can see how I also put people put myself in uncompromised positions and in situations where a lot of people feel like, oh, it's not safe. But what is safe? Y'all gonna really start to see, look at your banking systems. Look at your food. Look at everything else. What's safe? Are you secure within yourself when this shit start to collapse, and it already is? Are you secure within yourself? Are you that connected to your inner child to where it's like, whatever happens, I still can find a place of joy. I still can be myself, no matter what's happening in the world. Because if you see children, that's the same. That's why I say people have lost sight of that shit. There's some people in your life wanted you to lose sight of that. And that's why I realized the jealousy, and also too, when I came into people's life, the jealousy of, I was almost like this energy, this ball of energy, this ball of like light and whatever. And I still had those tendency. I got more sharpened with it when it came to picking up on the discernment of, times where I tell somebody who I was seeing or, dating at the time, because again, this is the inner child. Because they couldn't see past the mom and dad thing. This gonna support a lot of y'all, give y'all a lot of insight. They couldn't see past the mom and dad thing because again, in your development aspect of becoming whole with self and partnership and recognizing healthy dialogues, it's a part of your inner child feeling safe. So when you let go of I realize a lot of people don't know how to let go of their mother and father in a way of energetically speaking, emotionally and so forth, because it has a lot to do with the unhealthy attachments that's beyond the surface that they develop with that mother and father. So it doesn't matter how long you've been together, no matter where you venture off to in some forms, if that mother and father hasn't been a safe place for them, you will see, again, people bi-curiously live out their dreams or something through their children, or that child, which could possibly be an adult, don't recognize the enmeshment connection and never liberate themselves mentally and emotionally or like from that connection. It becomes unrequited in an emotional, incessive way when it comes to people and their kids. It becomes like something that, for some of y'all, like jealousy peaks. Some of y'all, I know women see it a lot. Men, I see it, but that's all the men who are in tune. But you don't hear them talk about it. That's why I realize I post to. But a lot of women see this shit. And they feel like they don't have a sense of authority, or you even see some men try to defend their mothers. Don't talk to my mom like this. I was in some shit where I'm reflective. Like, a girl mom put their hands on me and her dad try to fight me. And it's like, well, I told you I'm like 6'4", 6'5", probably with shoes on, but 6'4", and probably like 190, 195. And I remember an incident, because as I'm talking about this, I'm pulling from the energy or transmuting it in such a way to describe to y'all, like, I recognize this energy. I recognize the person, the people who never outgrew or never knew what it was to pour into their inner child, to realize like their connections, the cords that's connecting them emotionally should be healthy. It shouldn't be entangled to where you cannot actually be who you are and learn the lessons. And that's why I say, like, I've seen people go through financial abuse. Their mother and father become monitoring spirits, and everything they do, anything that they could do to keep them unhealthily attached to them, they'll do it. Fuck yeah, they'll do it. And again, this is out of abandonment issues. So yeah, I had an incident where this girl, which I knew her mom was doing in the dream state, something was revealed to me. Her mom was doing did something with her hair, and then those who know it was something where, again, she eventually came out and told me, like, yeah, my mom keeps my hair and some other stuff. And the only reason I'm saying this, because it's the unfiltered inner child. It's the fact of, like, those who know spiritually what that means. Basically, her mom was, and those of you don't have to resonate, but it was basically a way of her mom trying to bind her to her, in a way, spiritually. So it was revealed to me, so I had informed her. But even after that, it kind of showed me that I was supposed to go through this path with this person and so forth, and just be that, and then eventually move on. But other than that, I knew that she would come to know the truth about a lot of things. But again, the tables have turned to where I keep telling y'all like how people sometimes no, most of the times when you're dealing with a society that's preyed on childhood wounds, these people have done this unconsciously to their kids too. They don't want their kids to outgrow who they are. This revealed a lot when I realized, like, again, I was coming into people's life and I was just like there to remind them of what we probably have experienced, which is our childhood traumas and experiences, and sometimes we live it out together unconsciously until somebody became aware like of the pattern. And that's the person who typically is evolved or choosing to evolve and having seen the bigger picture. So this is where some people can be left behind when it comes to, again, the relationship eventually becomes unrequited because that's what they're used to. That's what they're familiar with. And that's why I say a lot of people are in unrequited relationships with their mother and father. I seen this play out with someone I knew. I was like, yo, you can just see the energy. You can just see the person. They look so tired and drained, and what it is that the inner child has been depleted. When you get depleted in relationships, emotionally, mentally, and so forth on so many levels, it's basically saying like you have allowed your happiness to be placed within the relationship, the career, the person, and so forth, that you have lost sight of the joy within you. You have lost sight of the things that give you life. And then you're in something with someone who don't have a healthy dialogue or not trying to heal and try to pour into themselves. Again, it's going to end in something, is eventually going to become something unrequited. Now, had I known this years ago, which I know now, like, I'm telling, don't come over here with that bullshit. Had I known this years ago, yeah. Because I'm very much aware that a lot of us have grew up in these dynamics, and you'll begin to see the pattern and the cycles that your mother and father's been living in, and also the cycles of humanity that we're coming out of, where the loops that people have been in and the cycles that we are completing. These are karmic cycles completing, y'all. And some people are actually going to go right back through them. That's why I'm making it known to myself already, and then to the universe of certain people. Like, do not think you finna come the fuck over here with no bullshit. No. Because some people want to, like, the energy I'm picking up on is like in their reminders to realize, oh, what you were to them. Yeah, they're going to get clarity, but at the same moment, it's like, you know, for me, I don't see myself going down that road again with nobody. Nobody from the past anyway, because for me, I just know, like, I don't have to know what they have going on. I just know how much I need to just realize, like, I've been in such a forward motion and I don't need any fucking distractions. I know people want to tell me their stories. Like, y'all gotta realize, when you get to a place like this, you start to really see shit unfold the way of, like, when you see people have really been disconnected from their inner child, it's so prominent to where how you cannot overlook the signs that, is it possible that they'll put me right back in this shit or not? And you have the opportunity to, whether you want to take that chance or not. That's not a choice for them to make. Their choice is trying to rekindle, reconnect, and so forth. Your choice, again, is to decide whether you want to agree to that. And that's a spiritual thing. It's not just in written form. Now, if you want to go that far, like an NDA and draw up a contract, yeah. But other than that, yeah, you know, people want to love you again. Love on you again. They might have met themselves a little deeper, but phew-wee. When you get to a place of pouring so much into yourself, you ask yourself, like, man, I've been in this for so long right now. Do I even have the capacity? Then it's that possibility, like, are you going to do this shit again? Have you really healed? Are you disguising yourself, which you will naturally be able to pick up on, because something always going to reveal itself. The energy definitely don't lie. So something's always going to reveal itself. For me, I tell myself, Yeah, you might well just wait about a good 8, 9, 10 years. Like I said, I know people who watch me. This is something that I'm encouraging y'all. Like, you gotta stay in your power, man. You deserve not so much just better, but in you being better for yourself, you do deserve like to be loved healthily because you met yourself deeper, so you know what you deserve. That's what this comes down to, and I'm creating this during Taurus season. So it's like know your worth. What's really the question is gonna be asked: is this worth it? Isn't she lovely? Is this worth it? That's what you really gotta ask yourself. Is this worth it? Some people will accept the no. Some people will try harder and harder. For me, I'm like, shit. I'm almost on some shit to where I don't invest in so much in folks. Well, you gonna have to pay me. I'm on some shit like, you gonna have to pay me. You wanna talk to me? What's up? I'm like, what? I'm gonna need to exchange. You don't have to like it, shit. I don't invest, because when you start to see, like, your time is not to be wasted and so forth, yeah, I don't went over there and learn all them damn lessons. People don't went over there and learn all them lessons from other people and realize they was on the wrong side of the fence. They don't went over there and learn that. And then we all been there, but at the same time, it's like, it's different this time to go around. It's just different. It is different over here. Cut some more of these potatoes. Then for a lot of you gotta realize, like, the reason why this inner child healing is so beautiful is because just think about what you didn't know then, but now you know now. So you can choose to listen to people's stories, but you make your own decisions. That same fucking duration they took so long to take, give them that just that much time to allow to feel like they have access to you. You don't gotta let them see everything. That's why I tell myself, you got kids and shit too. You know how important it is to protect your inner child. What makes you think you finna get close to even my kids and certain things? Like, especially you ain't did no damn healing. That's already a no-go. That's already a no-go. They go for so many people too. You gotta think about how people just allowed us to be around anybody growing up. Now we healing from the shit. They don't even want to acknowledge that they fucked up for some folks. I don't even want your congratulations. I can all in conversation. I forgot that verse. All the stars, tell me what you gon'. What did he say? Tell me what you gon' do to me. You can bring a knife, you can bring a sword, but you can't bring the truth to me. Once you came to your truth in your world and you had peace with that, folks, they gonna come with their truth. They gonna come with their perception of why they made their decision, and that's okay. I can feel some people, bro, because I keep telling myself, the more I keep getting clarity, I'm not surprised with a fucking DM. I'm not surprised with some certain things. That's the beauty of evolution for some of y'all. Like I said, you have the opportunity to close out whatever. Especially during a Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. Whew. That's probably what I'm navigating through, is realizing, like, it's hey, it's some fucking no. Some people I realize, like, I don't even want a connection with no more or care to even have something, because just pay me for my time. Like I'm really on some shit. Like pay me for the time that I like the wasted time with your ass. Cause now you want to come and share some shit with me about what you, man. I don't even care. Pay me for the time. Like, cause you gotta know what type of season you in. I know what I'm focused on. And yeah, like I said, it goes back to the fact that like my inner child more focused on building with those who are like-minded. And for one, I know for sure when it comes to my babies, the extension of me, they're their own individual. But when it comes to that, like, I feel like that's such a luxury. I don't know how the fuck. I feel like that's what's it reminded me of. It's like to create a life around it. I don't have to vacation from it. It's just like one thing I realized that brings awareness is like once you healing your inner child, if you do have kids, that shit will make you like see the importance of showing up for yourself and realizing how much like you're also guiding them to do the same thing. Because they're watching you. They're definitely watching you. They're watching you more than you know it. My daughter used to have moments. Well, I'm gonna bring reference to her mom because I used to tell her mom, like, listen, you gotta start making time for yourself. If you don't, eventually what's gonna end up happening is you're gonna see the same pattern of other people, other women, or certain people who are in your position. Resentment's gonna grow because you're gonna feel like you never made time for yourself, but you can't blame no one else on. You're gonna have to make your daughter or kids feel uncomfortable when you leave. I do it all the time. Some things don't call for emotion. It's the fact of like, listen, you or nobody else is gonna stop me from showing up for myself. When you make that decision, you or nobody else are gonna stop me from fucking acknowledging these behavior patterns, this generational trauma, clearing this karmic debt. You or nobody gonna stop this. Nobody. Because if I've got insight and the vision of like this is gonna put me in a position or place me in a place of authority to where I realize like for the betterment of all, I'm not taking that as something like as like little, no. So I was like, yeah, you better go out there. Because then she started to recognize when she became more consistent with it, how much she started to feel better. She go take a moment, and I keep telling y'all, like in those moments is where the divine reveals stuff to you. Like something you didn't even know was you had bottled up. You sit here want to argue, but don't realize like whole time when you go out and hey girl, look at my baby running over here. When you go out and really get to know yourself more deeper, you realize like, oh shit, that shit wasn't even as big as we thought it was. I feel like a lot of the chaotic energy that stems in a lot of dynamics, whether relationships and friendships and so forth, is because people never had the opportunity to get the fuck away or stay away or do things where they have balance. Like partnership relationships, you have to have balance. You have to have balance within yourself for you to see the importance of how you need to show up for yourself, and then you will be considerate of others so that they can show up. It affects everybody. I mean, people like, well, my focus, a lot of things I'm on is like, I'm creating something to where, like, to create a life around so my kids can have, in their generations, can have a balanced life. And I mean, on all levels. I don't want them to be focused on no hustle and bustle and doing this and, you know, forget about who they are. That's not what the inner child perspective is all about. No, it's about balancing out a lifestyle. All this overworking shit, when this Chiron and Taurus come, it's going to highlight the prominence of rest. How much rest people don't get. How much shit is created so people don't prioritize rest. That was one of the biggest things
Like, when you recognize why a lot of trauma start happening in family dynamics, I guarantee you, rest is the fucking #1 thing on the list. If anyone objects, I give you, well, anyone feel any different, or you tell me that ain't true, shit, $1 million. I'm saying that jokingly, but nah, but it's real. Most people don't get enough, not even just enough rest. It was designed to keep, again, prey on your childhood wounds, to keep you in limbo, to keep you in balance. And the very thing people need is more rest. Because when you get more rest, guess what you end up doing? You actually start to create towards a life that is more balanced. My content ain't just around, it starts with me first, but also it pans out, or it expands to people really realizing, like, this message is bigger than me. You want to create a structured, more balanced world? Rest. Look at what people escape through with drugs. Most of the time, they go through hallucinations. They go through a whole bunch of shit. They don't rest. That affects their stability. That affects how they show up for themselves. All that shit is a cycle, bro. People automatically assume it's irreversible. No, we're healing now. Y'all think that people can't come off drugs or come out of the search. The only thing they're doing is escaping from reality. They're trying to escape from feeling. But then when they start to realize, like, once you start to come back home, you get high off life. Let me come out here and get this song. Let me get this smoke. What? Let me ground my feet. Let me relax today. Today I ain't doing bit much nothing. You mad at that? You count my pockets? No, I already know I'm staying grounded in my truth. All of what I'm doing, all of my channels are monetized. Everything. Knowing my worth, knowing my value, staying grounded in who I am, knowing my worth. If y'all can go out here and pay people to stay in dysfunctionality, to stay in ignorance, to keep them in limbo, and you're sure as fuck, it's just like you pay attention. Because where your attention goes, that's why people gotta sway you. A lot of y'all could be easily manipulated to pay somebody. Like, you'll pay somebody $1,000, then find out the fucking purse is created somewhere else for $5. You'll pay for some shoes that's $300, $400, $500 that when we were younger, them bitches was $20. Y'all getting pimped. If that don't tell you it's greed, what the fuck do you call it? What do you call that shit? I'm going to get everything and more from my inner child. The abundance, because that's the shift. It's going to be authenticity. People going to shift to, they're going to desire and seek authenticity. People who being real with them. But you only can be real with other people who being real with themselves. Y'all not being real with y'allself? That's why I realized how people fell away when I realized I thought I was supposed to have an attachment to them. No, the fuck I did. I started to learn now. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. Because you, in my evolving into something higher and bigger than me, you went right back to what's familiar. And you're going to get what you want. Yeah, you can go right back to the hustle, go back to the things where you can get the money, you can get all that stuff. But you didn't, in that way you was going to get, you didn't get yourself. You forgot something back there. You forgot you. Because you went right back to the similar cycles of what? Your mom and dad and, you know, where you felt safe. Because see, the inner child reminded me of, like, my inner world. The patterns I was in was reminding me of how led me to you. I'm speaking in general, like, led me to a person who was just as emotionally unsafe. And their mother and father could have the money, could have the balance and so forth. But they were still emotionally unsafe. Because their mother and father repressed it. Some of them went through things militant. Some of them were a part of things where they were unfulfilled. Yeah. And I was sitting here like, dang, this whole time, I know myself to be in integrity. I know the importance of, like, when the divine says slow your ass down so this doesn't happen. Today I fucking I didn't rush myself getting up. I went and got one of those rollers for your body to massage your body, and I rolled the back of my calf. I was like, oh shit, I remember this. And the divine will help you remember something. Like, I remember I was playing basketball, because again, well-being. I was playing basketball one day and my fucking calves locked up, bro. I'm sitting here thinking it's water and stuff. I'm like, nah, because where I'm at, from experience and going outside, I'm so used to playing inside. I'm not used to playing on concrete and stuff. So, you know, that takes more effect on your calves and body and stuff. So now I was like, oh, okay. Okay, this makes sense. It reminded me then to slow down, massage my legs, and relax. Now, I think this is what my gonna be third video today that I'm uploading. But it's the fact of, again, I know the life that I'm creating. I know the life that I'm structuring. If there's somebody else, like I said, I don't know how much this is true, but there's a content creator that was saying how he was so far ahead to where people were, what was it? He was doing these skits. Country Wayne, I believe it was him, one of the content creators, where he basically started doing stuff to where you will have these big corporations and stuff assuming like, oh, you gotta put so much money into this and all like this, when he just did it through a phone. He just did it through a phone. It's the same way I tell people, you gotta be innovative when it comes to the fact of, like, I express to people. I don't just create my books. My inner child has no limitations. The essence of who I am has no limitations. So in my world, I'm gonna put my shit out everywhere and connect however I want to, through integrity, through authenticity, not someone trying to tell me, oh, you gotta go about this way, or you gotta go about this way, or you gotta be this age to do this, or you gotta be this age to do that. Says who? I'm seeing some YouTubers getting paid more money than some professional athletes. Now, I'm not saying other professional athletes, but I see the shift in how, if you don't see the shit, boy, the shit is happening. And it's more than just money. It's just a fact of, like, just to see the beauty in people who at a time didn't get acknowledged just for being themselves to be acknowledged. I told you there's a shift in authority. It's really a shift in the people are going to have to say so now, along with the kids. That's the shift that people are afraid of. Only the people are afraid of is the one who have built this high horse and lost sight of their inner child. They want to control and manipulate. Those are the ones. So that content creator, they was like, that man made, it's allegedly, I don't know how true this is, but $600,000 a month just from, but I could see where he started though, to where when YouTube and all these platforms start paying people, so you got to realize it was like an accumulation over time to where his video has already had these views. So it's almost like this nigga, like, it's like, again, he's early to the party, innovative, taking a risk. He's, you know, to where now people are catching on, or now that the masses catch on, now, boom, early to the party, stay the course. And like I said, it reminded me of the person where, again, I was attacked by their mom and dad, and it just shows me their moment of, like, going back to now protecting my inner child. It's like, I don't know from the distance that you have stood up to your mom, or I don't know if you even acknowledge the fact of what happened to me, because during that moment, you didn't even feel like it was important for me to be protected. And see, that goes back to how we were not protected young, and how even when you grow into adulthood, your inner child is still there, but that inner child knows the importance of how you're supposed to be protected or protecting yourself. So you will want that protection for your spouse or your partner. I went through a lot of stuff like that. Like, the feeling of abandonment issues will bring up the fact of how when you were abandoned young in your inner child, or you as a child in childhood, how you actually could unconsciously attract or subconsciously attract relationships where people don't back you up, don't protect you, or feel like that they're in your corner. I went through that. And it was very painful and a challenge, because I told myself dang, am I used to trying to be the savior complex? But when you develop your self-worth and begin to stand more in your truth and reclaim your authority over your life, you start to recognize oh, I see what type of energy this person is. I see that they don't know what integrity is, or I see that they rather protect the image that has been upheld in the family structure than to actually stand up for themselves, which again is a form of protecting your inner child, to see your pattern, because you will be able to take accountability to see the protection in knowing how to protect that person. And a lot of people don't know the importance of that, being in a relationship or partnership. It ain't just you and your kids. A lot of it has a lot to do with the fact of the little girl and boy inside of your friend, your partner, and your friends, whoever you associate with, deserve to be protected too. They sit here and be vulnerable to you about their stories or what they went through. And I get some people grew up in environments where no one established that. Because again, when you have an emotionally unavailable parent or caregiver, guardian or someone, or grew up in dysfunctionality, abusiveness, and so forth, you're not used to seeing people protect themselves. If you do, you see it in such a combative and argumentative way to where they're trying to deflect or protect, again, the dysfunction. And then loop right back into the trauma bond again. I recognize this so much so to where this is why I've cut off so many people. Even if they don't know why I cut it off, because I was like, you don't realize I saw patterns. And then through the fact of even the duration of not through me reconciling, but you knowing that if you have did any work and face yourself, that you know that someone's deserving of an apology, even if it don't come from the people who inflicted it, you still be like, you know what? I apologize for the person during that time. Because I had to apologize to myself. I don't owe people an apology. I don't owe them shit, especially the ones who knowingly know what I've experienced with their families, their friends, and so forth. Because in showing up for yourself, loving on yourself, these things are gonna be revealed, because it's a part of your self-worth and self-value that you're not going to even want to resonate and be around these people anymore. Because you're at a different frequency, you're at a different vibration. You start to realize the love frequency, the authenticity, or the integrity itself reveals these loopholes. That's why some of my greatest lessons came through a lot of those very same people, to where they can have access in a way to where it's going to be limited access, and it's going to be on my timing, my say so, and that's to protect myself. That's to protect my inner child and what's connected to me. And if people ain't moving like that, fuck them. Because for real, a lot of people ain't moving like that. They'll expose, by them being exposed and not having boundaries and so forth. You had to learn through those karmic lessons to see what blurred boundaries were. You had to learn through being in something abusive what self-abuse was, and not knowing your worth and not knowing your value. You had to experience that purposefully to be a bridge from your old version of yourself to the new version. To be a bridge for some of y'all, your kids, to know hey, that's not okay. What they're doing is not okay. Whether they're family, friends or not, that's not okay. We're not gonna be seeing them. I'm not gonna reconnect with them. A lot of people ain't willing to make those sacrifices to actually be in your world. And what I mean by that, I mean healthy, knowing that it's healthy. And some of them won't get it until years later or whatever. And that's okay. Again, you still have the opportunity to open that door or close it for good. Because trust is a real thing, or trying to rebuild that shit can take years. Those who know. When you went through things and you reflect, and you realize, like, wow, I've seen how long it takes for me to navigate through these fucking childhood wounds and adult wounds, and that shit take years to, rebuild your confidence, to rebuild your self-esteem, because at a point in time, your self-esteem reflected the fact of why you were with people, what type of relationships you were in, what you accepted. Because the belief system stemmed from the root cause of where the childhood trauma was initiated or inflicted. And so, yeah, that's the beauty of growth. And then when you think about, as you heal the inner child, that we're simple. Men and women are simple. We don't ask for a lot. We're very simple. Women, when it comes to them, it's the attention. And I don't mean, like, tension is healthy, affection, certain things, attention. It was the 3 things I used to talk about too, that women are ruled by Venus. So attention is one, honesty, attention, honesty, and I forgot the other one. But yeah, it's where your attention flows, because it's like the energy within us, especially as men, because we're visual. Depending on how we see the image of a woman, we're going to attend to them, be assertive in that way, attend to their needs in such a way. Men, we're ruled by Mars, which is what? Respect and sex. Again, the sex aspect is not the distorted way, but in the beauty of seeing the creation in sex, and how a man wants to continue his, build upon his empire to expand. That's the beauty of it. And then that comes from the depths of the emotional space, the mental, the spiritual, and so forth. And it's always 3. I say respect, sex, and I think it's admiration for men, like the sense of feeling appreciated. Because when we feel appreciated and valued, just the verbal words that a woman says, how she speaks, that gives a man something within him where he knows, because we're assertive first, we're action. So it's like through our ability to do things, we assert our way to pour into you so you can reassure us or affirm to us, or almost like it's like a cycle. It's how you water each other, because we're simple. Like I said, you want nothing more for that man's attention to be focused just on you, him for have eyes just for you. But again, when you're dealing with people who have been wounded and so forth, their eyes are going to be everywhere. Sexual traumas and stuff, their focus is through that distortion in sex is going to be everywhere but you. They're not going to have empathy for what happens to you sexually. This is what's happening. This is what has happened. Depends on the relationship with the daughter, the father, and the father. I'm getting clarity when I say this. The father and the daughter is how he's attentive to the daughter, her emotional needs, and this is why I realized with my daughter, like, she mirrors back to me how much I didn't receive that, be affirmed through my actions, due to the emotional abandonment I dealt with, and physical abandonment and so forth. To keep me on course. That's why you hear people say, you got to encourage that man, you got to pour into him. Because women don't need, I don't say y'all don't need that, but you pay attention and you pick up on the nonverbal cues, because your intuition, you pick up on his patterns. Think about that, because that's the way how he asserts himself. You pick up on his patterns. And this is why, if a lot of y'all didn't have healthy connections with fathers or certain men and so forth, that when you don't get attention, you go elsewhere, or you go somewhere else where, due to your internal wound, you leak out somewhere else. Or when you don't heal that father wound, you bleed onto someone else. So that inner child aspect is, if you dealt with abandonment, some type of abuse very young, and there was no man that came along to support you or show attention to that wound. More so, a lot of women don't know a lot of men that can come along and be attentive to that wound, address, pick up on the things that you don't talk about. It scares you. Because then, if you're used to a trauma loop of going to men that you know that are not good for you, they're not worthy of entering you, and so forth, you will go right back, loop it into a pattern to what's familiar, because you were never guided and received the guidance or received the proper attention on how to pour into said man. And this goes both ways. Pour into said man so he can show up for you. And that comes with the fact of people losing sight of the little boy and girl. And then when they think about their traumas or never have time to actually pour into themselves, they loop through the same behavior patterns. They go through the same shit over and over again. So that's why I can see how some people, you know, it almost seems like a fairy tale or delusion, because they're not used to your type of energy. They don't feel worthy. And that comes from, you know, them the unworthiness within them that they grew up in, surrounded by people who never felt worthy. And a lot of their feeling worthy was probably rooted in sex. They only felt worthy of, especially they didn't have guidance from a father. Then they ended up in something that continues to end up in shit that's unrequited, that's one-sided. Because naturally women are going to, the force and the power that they have and the authority that they have, not just spiritually, but matriarchally and so forth, they carry more capacity when it comes to managing through emotion. So therefore, they have more of authority in things consciously, but if they're unconscious of it, they do more harm than they do justice or bring justice and stability. And that's what they can do to a man's life. They don't know that. They don't know that. So they won't be able to recognize it when a man comes along and, you know, he might have went through things. No one's going to be perfect. Everybody's going to have some type of karma or come with something, because your perception of life going to be different than his. But this is how some people lose out, or their contract is breached when it comes to the spiritual aspects. That's why I keep telling women, the inner child aspect of y'all, the little girl, y'all actually are a part of initiating a man's whatever he builds on. You are the closest thing to source because of your womb space. So you have a higher authority spiritually. And that's what's the rise of the divine mother energy y'all hear people talk about, divine mama. It's because she's been laying dormant through her pain, through her looping through these same traumatic experiences and so forth, to where a part of the divine mother is the daughter earth, that energy that women are now recalibrating, being reborn through. And they have to be reborn through it, through the fact of what their mother never paid attention to, or how the father that their father of their mother, which would be their grandfather, never were attentive to when it came to whether it be emotionally available or not, or supportive, or preventing them from ended up being sexually abused, or, you know, abused in any shape or form. And so that, again, generation, it goes back to the fact of what the father was given. How was he poured into? Was he respected by his mother? And when you see the cycle of what we're cleansing and so forth, the inner child aspects have to do with the fact of the accountability around the adults. Y'all keep forgetting the fact of, like, you have a society who don't respect men. We're ruled by respect. We're ruled by sex. You have a society that, again, don't care about how the little boys go out here. I'm telling you, I've done seen shit to where you got little kids that's not only, you know, they dealing with abandonment wounds because they with each other all day. You got little boys and girls walking around all day. And you got adults doing the same thing. That's why a lot of people are afraid to be alone, because they're dealing with abandonment wounds. You want to be around this nigga. You want to be around her all fucking day. You got abandonment issues, bruh. You keep abandoning your inner child because you want to be around this person. You never want to make time for you. You got to know what they're doing. But you're a monitoring spirit. Sis, you're a monitoring spirit. You got unhealthy attachments. You want to fucking look at the phone and make sure you want to clock his location. That is misery. That is so fucking unhealthy. If you ain't doing it in a way to where you know that You speak protection over that man and so forth. Like I said, a lot of y'all has lost sight of the inner child, the little girl, which you need to heal, which connects you to your imagination, the power, and so forth. Because then you'll see the connection to everything involved, all involved. You begin to see the little boy within him that is hurt. Not that you can fix it, but you allow yourself, because again, women have the capacity to navigate things through leadership, through authority. That was the first of everything. Not in a gender aspect when I say feminine archetype, but that the water holds memory. We were born from the womb of our mothers, where our minds begin. So again, the inner child. A lot of people's perception on life did not come from a healthy place. Their mind began where in the side of their mother. They took on the emotional resonance of what their mother experienced. Y'all think y'all just experiencing a man. You experiencing a little boy and the shit he went through. You think you just experiencing her. I've learned this with the mother of my kid. I had to realize, like, I had to have the most uncomfortable conversation with her. Hey man, the shit your father did, because I had to come into that realm of seeing my daughter, I couldn't ever do. I couldn't ever do. Some people's way, and that's how you see the beauty full circle. Some people's way of doing things, you have to observe, because the divine will put you in position to learn from them. Not repeat what they're doing. That's what some of y'all not getting. You want to fucking seek revenge because you've been hurt. We all been hurt. We've been through this shit because hurt people hurt people. So not to go through that shit again, you realize stop hurting yourself. Because you go down that path again, ignoring, self-sabotaging and all this other shit, or self-sacrificing and all like this, you have the opportunity to stop that. He can't make you stop that if he ain't even trying to fucking heal or acknowledge that. She can't make you stop that. I had to learn through people's ignorance, through to see the fact that, wow, she had an emotionally unavailable father. Not only that, she didn't even have a relationship with her mother. God, that's a double whammy. So now it's like she don't take on attributes of this man and unconsciously don't recognize it, because now you've been in a cycle of hyper masculinity. So then when someone approaches with communication or approach you and trying to navigate the fact of communicating does come with emotion sometimes, and sometimes we're not going to agree on things. And some people, again, they unhealthy. Yeah, they can act so kind outside, but I keep telling y'all, when it comes to people like this, where you've been taught to just, some of y'all, you're so prominent to either, and this is from a lot of you in different demographics, everybody keep telling you to be so kind and be so this and that. And some of y'all mothers in the house, you know, you get a whole different version of her when you were a child. The fuck? She jealous, she envious, something. Because she never dealt with her father's wounds. I don't give a fuck what neighborhood you live in. I don't care where you live at and how good your neighborhood look and you got millions in the bank account. You still got a father wound. You still got a mother wound. Like I said, how you even handle conflict would tell me everything. Do you even hold conflict resolution as a priority? Are you even able to navigate through shit without exploding? Are you able to even sit down? Because if you standing up, do you realize that poses a threat that can make someone feel small? I lived it, I experienced it, because I didn't know how to talk to people. Again, I'm 6'4", so I had to learn to sit down. I had to learn to realize, like, you have to adjust to everyone's world and level. Everyone's not willing to adjust. Sometimes I had to talk to my daughter. I had to go through the lessons of, I didn't even know how to approach her. I was more scared of my own emotions, but she was there to, player, you can't run from these emotions. So I had to learn to get down to her size. I had to learn that she was a part of me learning to be gentle again. She was a part of me learning to embrace the parts of me that I thought was lost. Your relationships, your partners, your experience, they are no fucking different. People are supposed to trigger you. People are supposed to remind you that you don't have it all together, boo-boo. Bruh, you don't have it all together. It don't matter where you at in life. Y'all keep getting food and things just because people got all this money and they live in this neighborhood, they got it all together. No, they don't. Because sometimes you will come into that space and your energy and expose, you'll be able to see some shit like, You know how many people I know got big cribs and you go in the house, shit everywhere. You know what that reflects? Something inside of them. No type of structure. They just accumulate a lot of money. Some people I've learned through relationships and so forth, they don't know how to manage a relationship. They don't know how to sustain it. I was there because I didn't see it. I didn't witness it. So guess what my lesson is? You're going to learn today. You're going to learn gradually. Like if you want to keep something sustainable, you have to learn to manage your fucking emotions. You have to learn to balance, find balance. You have to learn that everything won't go your way. And then even when things don't go your way, you realize everything is working out for your greatest good. So yeah, we gotta stop pretending like the things that we have held in high honor, it's not sustainable. Now you mad at the world. If you thought money was gonna keep that relationship, you thought sex, all this trauma bonding shit, all this shit that you keep wondering, why my relationship keep doing, why did it keep happening? You ain't never got to know you. After that relationship, after this, after that. You never got to know you. Your mom and dad never got to know themselves. I even think the fact of like, even when people do, you know, what they call witchcraft or try to manipulate energy, I seen a motherfucker right now suffering. And if you want to use those terms or not, I see someone right now suffering because what a mother wound would do to a man, he will never know how to let go of that woman, even if he physically left or did anything. And I've learned this through experience, he will never know how to let go if he doesn't accept the fact that, for one, that's not your mother. 2, yes, she has mother energy. But 3, what is this teaching you about yourself? Have you dealt with abandonment issues? Have you been emotionally abandoned? I see elderly men right to this day that I know, somebody close to me, that no matter what they've done, they still can't find their way not to live near this person, come around, try to be a part of the family. And then really what it's saying, it's just a part of him as a grown-ass man. The little boy, he can't come up and say, hey, I've never had a family. I never had this. Can I just be around? Can I come around? No, in some shape or form, I recognize it to be a trauma bond. Some people can't even acknowledge the fact that everything ain't supposed to be intimate. Everything ain't supposed to be in an intimate setting sex-wise. Sometimes you just come into people's life for a season and a reason, and sometimes that reason you thought was supposed to be this, but then you realize, like, I was just supposed to be in that person's life for a season. I'm supposed to just be in this person's life to realize, like just that moment, I appreciate this and so forth. And then realize, like, can I accept that I'm okay with it being platonic? I'm okay with it just being a friendship and so forth. See, when we've been fucked and bamboozled in this trauma bonded society and given all these goofy ass characters that we gotta idolize their relationship, bro, they is just as empty. They just as insecure. They gonna come to the realization too that they've been bought into a whole fucking lie and illusion. If you ask me, the same shit playing out, they don't know how to be platonic. Y'all gotta realize the same energy that we be giving on these certain media and platforms is the same narrative that we have accepted within our own internal world. That it's like we have fueled that. That's why I could care less about none of that shit. And that's why it don't become a part of my world no more. I see it, I just laugh and move on, or I just click off of it. I don't want that shit in my world. I could care less. For what? Why I need to know about them? I'm too busy working on my fucking self and trying to maintain my own relationship with myself and whomever else. But I think that's all I want to cover.